After the rise in interest rates, everyone's asking the same question. Is student housing an appropriate use for us to invest in? And is the commercial real estate sector going to suffer? When we're looking at student housing in particular, when we're comparing it against other uses, we're seeing that there's structural tailwinds behind the sector. There's a rise in the number of students over the next few years, whereby we're going to have another 400,000 students by 2035. There's a dramatic reduction in the number of planning applications that we're seeing throughout the UK, which means that despite increasing demographics and an appeal to overseas students, that the demand will not even be met by the supply. And what we're seeing is that locations like Manchester and Edinburgh and Brighton and Bristol are suffering. Manchester, just this year, were paying students £2,500 to live in locations like Huddersfield and Liverpool because they couldn't put them up in the city. Or the likes of St Andrews were putting up dormitories for multiple students to live in because they had no beds available. And we heard that in Durham, for example, students were queuing up outside accommodation offices and buildings were sold out in 10 minutes. So all of these incredible things really fascinate us about the student housing market and does create this sense of an inflationary hedge. As inflation grows and as inflation continues to be persistent, the student housing market will continue to be robust because every year we have new rooms that are let, new rents that are applied, and therefore investors benefit. There's of course an affordability cap, and there's of course concern as to how far those rents go. But for the time being, we're really excited about the possibility that student housing is that inflationary hedge sector. That means that the yields that you're buying in at now will certainly not be the yields in a year or 2 years' time.